Hello viewers, welcome to CodeForAny. Fruit markets, backends, and app API. Node.js Insight today need to start this here. The give review API need to develop for the user sites. Need to making here. First of all, need to create here the post methods. We need to create here. Now need to write down here the app dot post slash API slash app and to write down here the get give review API. We need to make here. Set here the request response. Now need to write down here the helper dot delogs request dot body. Need to write down here the where request object is equal to need to write down here the request dot body like here. Now need to check this here the access tokens. Need to set here the request dot headers. Need to pass this here the first parameters. Second parameters need to pass this here the response for the servers. If here this valid response for the access token is valid, then to get this here the user objects need to return the callbacks. Need to getting here the callback functions. And last parameters need to pass this here the required tabs once. So need to means here the user tab only access this API. Need to like this validations need to puts for the API levels need to set here. Now we need to how to give this here the rate for the specific orders. So need to create here the main. First of all, so need to explain this here the how to create here the orders main create here the one main order id creates and inside into many sub orders items id need to creatings and this order id again so need to give this here the review need to providing for the specific item review need to given this here because need to this food related so need to given this here the specific foods review. That's why I need to give this here the multiples review. Maybe possibles one orders inside the multiple sports orders and to give this here the multiples review for orders we need to set here. Now we need to how to write down here the database inside the creating insert this data for the review. We need to making here the first of all the check valid parameters need to get here. Need to write down here the helpers dot check valid parameters functions need to call. First of all, need to give this here the response request objects. Then after need to check this here the needed parameters need to put here. First of all, need to need this here the or item order ID. We need to needs for this. Then after need to give this here the rate. Give this here the ratings for the years. And after need to review message. We need to put here the message. Likes we need to setting here and we need to set this here. Then after we need to given this review we need to if here the get these parameters inside the request objects then need to get here the callbacks right here's this callback here and we need to call this here the db.query and we need to write down here the insert query insert into and we need to set this here the table names review details and we need to write down here the brackets and values and set here the question mark. Now, first of all, you need to give this here the user ID. Which users you need to give this here the review like this. You need to put here. Then after order ID. Then after need to give this here the rate and then after need to set this here the message. Like this, five parameters we need to set here. And one more thing, so need to forget this here the parameters. Need to set here items id. This is the most parts because specific items related to need to give this here the review. That's why I need to pass this here the items underscore id. Also need to pass these parameters. Now this is the five parameters. Next we need to set this here for this data and then afterwards we need to create here the brackets and to pass this here the request dot item underscore id. Then after give this here the another parameters for the user id user object dot user underscore id. Then after we need to give this here the request object dots item order id need to pass here, and then after need to give this here the rate, then request object dot so need to set here the message. These parameters need to pass at done, and need to this db.query functions need to return this here the errors and results callbacks. So need to return here for these functions like here. Now need to check here if gets any errors, then we need to throw this here the helper throw HTML errors and to pass this here the first parameters as a errors and second with the response and terminate this here the API calls. If now need to another conditions need to check here the if results need to bounce means here the successfully given this here the results need to save inside the database. Now need to response given this here the response.jsons, and we need to set this here the status, set here the one, and we need to set this here the message. Thank you for message, thank you for review message like here, thank you for review message, and welcome back. Like this we need to returning this here the message or this year's else parts need to write down here the request response JSONs, and we need to set this here the fail message status, set here 0, and we need to write down here the message, and to set this here the MSG fails like this we need to setting here, and this API need to done here the given review. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I'll help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.